Hello and welcome back to Hyperactive English with Teacher Danielle. Today we have another Hyperactive English on Demand lesson. Malik Laverman, fingers crossed that I said your name correctly, asked for a lesson on personality, adjectives, synonyms, and antonyms. So we'll get into that today. There are an incredibly large number of personality, adjectives, and trait, stemming into three different categories: positive, negative, or neutral. Please keep in mind that it is the societal and cultural ideology of an area and location that decides if these personality, adjectives, or traits are considered positive, negative, or neutral. I will be coming from the position of the North American view, and even with that, there are differences between the province of Quebec, where I live, and other provinces in Canada. So whether something is positive, negative, or neutral is really dependent upon the people to which you are speaking. Let us start looking at some of the traits. These generally fall in a category of positive traits, but I might throw in their other synonyms or even their antonyms depending upon the word. So our first word is attentive. If you are an attentive person, that means you listen when people are talking. You give all of your attention and focus to the situation or the person that is important at that particular moment. Faithful. Faithful is what we want our friends, our families, our coworkers, our businesses. We want people to be faithful to us. We want people to, once they connect with us, that they stay with us and we support each other as we grow. Honest. Do you tell the truth? Are you a person who speaks the truth? Honesty. Very important. Brave. Do you do things that make you nervous, but you still do them anyway? Or they might even scare you a little bit? Then you are a brave person. Determined. Perseverance. Never giving up. You set a goal and you strive to make that goal. Determined. Hard-working. Generally, people who are determined are also hard-working. Means you will continue to work until everything that needs to be accomplished is accomplished. Reliable. Reliable goes a lot with faithful. If you're a reliable person, that means that we can count on you. We can call on you when we're in need of your help or in need of things that you are capable of doing that we are not doing. Part of being outgoing, the positive part, is being friendly. So when you are interacting with other people, you make friends easily. You want to have multiple people in your life. So you make the effort to be kind and gentle and friendly with other people. Patient. I automatically picture a nurse, especially during those crazy COVID times. Nurses were on the front line, taking care of us, giving us shots and vaccines, and making sure that we were okay. So if you're a patient person, that means you have the energy and you take the time to make sure that other people are comfortable. You don't easily get agitated or distracted, angry or aggressive. You have the Zen mentality where you can just go with the flow and keep others happy and you're helpful. Generous. A generous person is one who can give freely and easily of themselves. I always say a generous person gives of their times, their talents, and their money. Because your generosity is not always about giving money. You can give your time. You can help someone move or help someone with something that they're incapable of doing. When you are charitable generally involves being generous with your money and that money is going towards established charities. Personality traits that may be considered a little negative. Our first one is absent-minded, which isn't necessarily negative. It just means somebody who is forgetful or unorganized. There are just things all over the place. And so, what did I have to do again today? I can't remember. I'm a little absent-minded, unorganized. Immature. So immaturity is definitely a negative thing when you're expecting maturity, when you're expecting someone to behave and conduct themselves with typical behavior for that age group or the environment to which you are in. Clumsy. Clumsy can be your fault, but it also might not be your fault. Some of us really just step on our feet and we fall over and we stumble and we bump into things. Or you can also be clumsy with your words. It's when you don't take the time to think before you speak. And anything can come out of your mouth. You could say anything. You could say the most worst, terrible, hurtful things. So clumsy can be a physical problem, but it can also be verbal. Impatient, the opposite of a nurse. So people in traffic get impatient. We don't want to wait. You're wasting our time. I need to go to work. I'm impatient. I have no time to relax and go with the flow. Speaking of traffic, there we can get some bad-tempered people. That means that you are not happy, you are not having it, and you are willing to let people know this, whether it is in the raising of your voice with anger or just changing of your facial expressions. I am not happy. You're a bad-tempered person. Bad-tempered people can also be ruthless. Ruthless is going way above just yelling or just yelling at somebody. When you're ruthless, the words that are coming out of your mouth are designed to do permanent mental or physical damage to someone if you are ruthless. You are not above hurting someone. Your goal is actually to tear and break someone down. Boy, oh boy, Paula's so touchy. You can't say anything without her crying or getting angry and becoming bad-tempered. Touchy. Touchy is when your emotions are very right there on the surface. Whether it's happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, it's right there on the surface. So anybody can say or do anything and you will react. We get this expression of walking on eggshells when you're around a touchy person because they're volatile. They can go off at any moment. Boastful, prideful, arrogant. You think that you are the greatest thing on earth and that there's no one who can compare to you. I'm the best at everything. Not just the best, I'm not an expert in my field. I'm the best at everything. Arrogant, boastful. Rude. People who are arrogant and boastful have the tendency to be rude. It just means that you are displaying what is culturally seen as inappropriate, impolite, and impatient behaviors. Whether that is verbally saying something that isn't appreciated or appropriate, or physically doing gestures, or behaviors, or actions that can be considered impolite for your society. Dishonest. Nobody likes a dishonest person. Someone who's not telling the truth, someone who's hiding the truth is considered to be a dishonest. Dishonesty can be seen as disloyal, meaning that you are not giving the support and the love and the trust that you should to the other person. Jealous. Dishonesty and disloyalty can lead to someone becoming jealous. when you want something that someone else has. It can lead to physical and behavioral and even verbal interactions that would suggest that you are jealous of the other person. Possessive. Possessive is another relationship word. It is when you feel the need to have restraint and complete control over somebody else's autonomy. You are possessive. This is mine. Only mine. No one else can have it. No one else can touch it. It is mine. And I will go to extremes to protect what is mine. Possessive. Greedy. And greedy means wanting more than you should have. And we use greedy when we talk about food and as when we talk about money. There's so much food your body is capable of ingesting, and if you go above that, you are greedy. Everybody doesn't need to be a billionaire. Most people don't need to be billionaires because there's only so much you can do with money. Selfish. Greedy people tend to be selfish because they're keeping everything to themselves and for themselves. You are self-minded. You are thinking only about what is best for me. But you can also add your family members to being selfish as well. You only care about your family and your family needs. So you're not community-minded. These next couple of words are words that I generally associate with being a child or younger children. But you can keep these personality traits as you grow up and get older. The first one is naughty. If someone is naughty, it means that they are doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. In this adorable picture, we have one baby painting another baby. You shouldn't paint another person, so therefore they're being naughty. With naughty, we have disobedient, untrustworthy, because you can't trust the person. Cheeky. I like cheeky. Cheeky comes from the UK, and it is just one of those cute words that I love. I would equate it to being silly here in North America. You do little things, you're a tease, you play, you flirt, you're a little cheeky. Fussy. We tend to pair fussy with children and eating. Because I don't like broccoli. I don't like vegetables. I don't want that. They can be fussy even about the types of clothes they wear. Some people don't like certain fabrics touching their skin, so they're fussy. It's like, oh, I can't sit here. I can't do this. It's too hot in here. Oh, now it's too cold in here. I don't like that. We're fussy, like a cat. It has to be the perfect environment, and everything has to be perfect. Stubborn. It's my way or no way at all. And this is definitely when we start to develop as a little kid, when we are coming into our autonomy years and we think that we know everything and that everyone should follow our lead and understand what we're saying is the absolute truth. It is my truth, my decisions, my way or the highway. Stubborn. Lazy. Ooh, our beautiful couch potatoes who sit around and do nothing. We tend to think of lazy as physical. But if you're a procrastinator and you're not doing your job, whether your job is a physical job or you need to do a report, you're typing things out, you need to make phone calls. If you're a procrastinator, you tend to be lazy as well. Someone who just doesn't want to do anything or doesn't want to be bothered to put in the effort to do something. Our neutral words. And again, these are because really depending on your culture or where you live or your societal standards, these words can be positive or negative. So we're going to look at them here today as neutrals. Our first word is calm. So we have words like calm, zen, relaxed, and these would generally be positive. But when you're in a situation that doesn't call for someone to be calm, zen, and relaxed, that is when it becomes a negative. Critical. Critical is positive when we need to use it in thinking and problem solving. We need to be critical thinkers. We need to be able to look at the situation, evaluate the problem, and solve the problem. But you should also be critical in a negative way. When you are putting other people down, when you're belittling other people, when you're teasing them or talking about someone behind their back, when you are doing things that are verbally mean about another person's ability, you are being critical. Or judgmental. Strict. Again, strict is one of those things that we tend to think about if we had a strict parent or we had a strict English teacher in high school. Strict is when someone expects a certain behavior from you, and therefore they will go to the extremes of punishing you in order to get that obedience out of you. But in a way, being in a strict environment can yield positive results if it leads towards the person developing and becoming better. But strict generally leads to people having low self-esteem and not feeling like they're capable of doing even simple things. Easygoing. Easygoing is one of those things like calm. It's great to be easygoing when the situation calls for it. It is not great to be easygoing or laxy-daisy when there's a situation that needs you to be strong and upfront. Next two words are extroverted and introverted. And again, why did I put them as neutrals? Because again, it depends on the environment and society to which you are in. If you are in a library and you are an extroverted, loud, talkative, lively person, that is not the situation where an extrovert would be successful. In that way, it would be bad. And if you were an introvert in a communications arena where you need to speak to people and you need to interact with people, and that is just not naturally you are more reserved into yourself, then introverted is a negative thing. But both of them are just dependent upon the environment to which you find yourselves and the other people to which you are interacting with and the goals that you have that you need to achieve. Nervous and shy. Again, we all have moments when we're nervous. You're going to have situations in which you're nervous. It is only a problem when you being nervous stops you from doing something that you need to do, where your nerves gets the better of you and you're just paralyzed and you can't move. Shy is the same way. There are situations where you need to be shy sometimes. You need to learn and look around and take in your environment. Shy can be for your protection. But also, if you are in a situation like where you need to give an oral presentation in a class, being shy then can be hurtful to your grade. Modest. The term modest takes on so many ideas. Growing up, I was taught that a woman should be modest, meaning that we should cover ourselves and make sure that we are not displaying things that could make somebody's personality change. And it can be change in a negative way to make someone jealous of you, or change even in a positive way, make somebody attracted to you. If you're modest, you're just trying to be a neutral person. You don't want the attention. You're not asking for the attention, but you're also not completely shying away, hiding from the attention. You're modest is a very neutral word. Our last neutral or double word is sensitive. We all want friends who are sensitive to our needs, to our emotions, to the environment around us. We want people who are charitable, kind, and giving, and sensitive in that positive way. Sensitive in the way of being touchy or building up walls is a negative. If you are always crying and always concerned about something going on, that can lead to depression, which can lead to many other mental and physical ailments to yourself. So sensitive as in being able to understand other people's needs and other people's point of view. Positive. Sensitive in the way that it is negatively affecting your mental health or even your physical health and your relationships with other people is not good. So sensitive. Witty, humorous, comedic, jokative. We all want somebody who has a really great sense of humor. We like being around people who are pleasant and make us laugh. But if your sense of humor is the opposite of the other people that you're around, or if your sense of humor lands more towards political, religious, subjects and topics that are not necessarily PC or polite for a work environment, then your wit and intellect may not be a positive thing. You may, curve who you want to tell certain jokes to. And then that way you're considered to be humorous, witty, and polite, not rude, inappropriate. There are hundreds more personality adjectives and traits out there in the world. But highly encourage you, go online, do some research. But thank you, Malik Liverman. I really hope I'm pronouncing your handle correctly, for asking for our lesson on personality adjectives. And if any of you have a question or a lesson that you would like to learn more about, feel free to put it in those comments there. And also remember to like, click, and subscribe. Thank you for visiting Hyperactive English with Teacher Danielle.